Thank you for joining us this morning for Psalm for Your Day. Psalm 20 is our psalm today. I want to read just a few verses from this. Psalm 20, verse 1 says, "May the Lord answer you in a day of trouble. May the name of Jacob's God protect you." But I want to focus on later in verse 7 when he says, "Some take pride in chariots and others in horses, but we take pride in the name of the Lord our God." Psalm 20 is an interesting psalm that it speaks almost to a congregation or to the nation, making a prayer to the king and to God, but the result of victory and against calamity or trouble. But the psalm is talking about, who are we going to trust? Who are we going to go against? Well, here's the question for us, me and you today. In our day of trouble, and whatever we're going to face, who are we going to trust in? Are we going to trust in ourselves, or are we going to trust in God? Now, a lot of people would, maybe in the false religion and false prosperity gospels, would say that, oh, just name it, claim it, trust in God. He's going to give you victory over everything, over everything in your life. Well, we know as we've walked through 1 Peter, there's the promise of suffering. But how do we face these troubles? It's who we're going to trust in. And it's interesting, this is a psalm of David. And most of the time when we read or we think about David, the first story that comes to mind is David and Goliath, and how he slayed Goliath, the Philistine that challenged God's people, that God raised up David for such a time as this to not be scared. And a lot of bad Bible teachers, maybe, or maybe a horrible, not a bad way to look at this is to the challenge to be a David. I'm going to be a David and face your giants and face your fears. Well, let's actually think about what David said. David didn't say, "Be like me." David didn't say, "I had the power." When he spoke to Goliath, what did he say? In 1 Samuel 17:45, he said, "You come against me with a sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of armies, the God of the ranks of Israel. You have defiled him. Today, the Lord will hand you over to me. Today, I'll strike you down, remove your head, and give the corpses to the Philistines' camp, to the birds of the sky, and the wild creature of this whole assembly. Then the whole world will know that Israel has a God, because he will hand you over to us." What was David's hope? Who did he trust in? Did he say, "Oh, I'm going to trust in my experience. Oh, I'm going to trust in my skill. Oh, I'm going to trust in this"? No, he said, "God will fight for me." And God is the one who is fighting for you today and me today. And so when David later pens this psalm in verse 40, in chapter 20, verse 7, he says, "Some take pride in chariots and others in horses, but we take pride in the name of the Lord our God." Who are you taking pride in your day? To face the challenges, the setbacks, the struggles, the fears. Are you taking pride in yourself, in your abilities, your experiences, your know-how? Or are you trusting in the name of the Lord our God? Some of us trust for our spouse's attention or our child's achievements to fill these pains or troubles that we face. But instead, we should trust in the steadfast love of Jesus to fill that void. Some trust in the goodness and discipline of niceness. But instead, we who are Christians trust in the righteous and the finished work of Christ. Some will face your day-to-day trusting in portfolios and cash margins and real estate. But we who are Christians trust in the unsearchable riches and the inheritance that is imperishable in heaven. Some will trust in health and vanity and sensuality, but we trust in the beautiful name of Jesus. Some kings and leaders trust in nuclear weapons and alliances and political power, but we trust in the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Who are you trusting in today? Don't take pride in yourself, your ability, your portfolio, your work. Take pride in the name of the Lord your God. Thank you for joining us today. May God bless you.